All right. 3, 2, 1, let's go. I'm stealing Joe Rogan's countdown. Just do what the greats do. Just copy that shit. Okay, let's just double check, make sure everything's good to go. And we'll be rocking and rolling. I'm going to talk about something I saw on the news. There it is. And this will be a short one, but I'm going to start rolling these out more often. So I'll do quick 10, 15 minute, podcasts. Let's get that going. Let's get the chat up for when people show up. Boom, here we go. All right. So, for those of you that didn't see, the UFC owner, Dana White, and his wife got into an altercation on New Year's. And he's come out with an apology to TMZ. We'll be playing that for you as well. But I wanted to watch the video, break down the video, and really put my thoughts in on it, because there's a rule that I have where you don't put your hands on a female, but there are exceptions to every rule. And I'm not saying that this is one of them, but I'm saying that in my opinion, I get it. If women want equal rights, then they should kind of want the same equality of, I'll treat you exactly how I would treat a man if he did this. But as men, as the more physically dominant sex, especially when it's a UFC trained fighter, because Dana White is a UFC trained fighter. He's not just the owner. He isn't a professional fighter, but he trains. You gotta be able to check yourself and realize that, I would treat that situation the same I would if it was a man of the same size doing it. And I think that's what he did, to be completely honest. I don't condone what he did. I'm just saying that if you watch the video, which we will in a second, this doesn't really scream abusive husband hits wife, and I'll just leave it there. So let's check out the video, and then we'll replay it, and I'll give you some things that I saw in it. But here we go. All right, so there's a lot of people that came out and said, oh, he slapped his wife twice. Now, that was me originally. After replaying the video, I want to show you guys something, right? The altercation starts off with them talking about something. I don't know what the conversation is, just like nobody else does. Maybe she just found out that he had cheated. Maybe she just found out that he, gambled away $250,000. Either way, she's pissed. And you want to check out what she does here, because this is a pretty heavy hit. Like, it's straight to the chin. His hands are down, his defenses are down. It looks like he doesn't really expect this. So when he does his apology, he said this is the first time this ever happened. I'm gonna believe him. I'm gonna take him at his word, because he don't look like he's ready for it. Okay, you see how he got just straight up to the chin hit. I don't care if she's 120 pounds soaking wet. She had some power behind that, and you can see him tighten up. He felt that. And when you're a professional fighter or you're a trained fighter, I trained Muay Thai for 2 years. I've been in a lot of street fights. When somebody is to hit you, your brain will shut off and you won't think for a minute. And that's what I see here, right? Slaps down, gives her a slap. Now, that right there, we're going to call that self-defense, reaction, whatever you want to call it, right? But that right there, in my opinion, is justified as you can throw it away as he didn't know what he was doing, or he was reacting to the situation. And he's already said that alcohol was involved. But now, this is where I was conflicted, because there's a second slap that everyone keeps talking about. And when I first saw it, I was like, okay, that second slap, it's not justified. That's a piece of shit move. But then I watched the video again, and I don't think he's slapping her in the face. I think he slaps her hand away. And let's see if we can catch this together. Okay, so let's try to get that on a better... Damn. All right, we'll try one more time. Okay. You might have caught it right there. But I think that's her hand coming up, and I think that's him slapping her hand out of the way. Now, we can try to get it a little bigger, see if we can really catch it. But either way, it's not that big of a point I wanted to make, but if there is a second slap to the face, it kind of changes my opinion. So I want to make sure and verify. Okay, there's a slap to the face. Okay. Now, yep, I think I'm right. I think if you look close, right over the R in sports on TMZ, pretty sure that that's her hand. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, it doesn't matter. You never put your hands on a woman. Now, I'm going to tell you guys a situation that happened to me last year, and why I think that in this particular situation, I don't think I did enough. All right, there was one of my neighbors who was a female, very timid person, very small woman, and she was being harassed outside by another woman who was absolutely hammered drunk, much bigger. This woman was my size. She was my size, and she was trying to go after a friend of mine. So I was pulling up from work. I got out of the car. I walked up. I tried to de-escalate the situation, and this drunk woman who was completely belligerent, completely drunk, barely even making any sense, she slapped me right across the chin, and hard. And I was, luckily enough, I reacted by just going like, hey, no, stop. And I put my hand up, and I de-escalated the situation. And then she came back, and she tried to come at both of us again. And I ended up kind of like shoulder checking her, not hitting her, not pushing her, just sort of putting my body in the way of this other woman who's a friend of mine who was scared, half her size, and the drunk woman fell over. Now, here's why I say that maybe I should have done more, right? After this altercation, this really drunk woman, she ended up getting into a car and driving away, and we were trying to call the cops. We tried to get the cops over. The response time of the cops was way too slow. They showed up 10 minutes after she left. And in retrospect, I would have been able to sleep at night if I had restrained her in the best way possible. Maybe just put her down on the ground, got her hands behind her back, and then called the cops and waited for the cops to show up. And from a perspective of maybe a passerby, it might have looked like a man, beating a woman or holding a woman down or whatever. It's just not what happened. So these are completely different situations. What Dana White did with this slap is not that situation, right? He was drunk. His wife was drunk. There's clearly, both parties are wrong. And but what I'm saying is, there is a time when it is okay to put your hands on a woman if that woman is beating you and trying to hurt you, right? This kind of is what happened here. We'll play it one more time, and then we'll go on to the apology. So, once again, right, they're talking. He's restraining her hand. He's trying to stop her from hitting him because he knows she wants to. Then they're talking some more. He thinks everything's calmed down. She waits. Boom. She waits, and she clocks him when he's not paying attention. That's fucked up. Right? Women, you can't hit men. Men, you can't hit women. But women, you can't hit men. All right? You guys want equality, right? Equality would teach us that Dana should have knocked her the fuck out. But he didn't, right? He slaps her. Then he slaps her hand out of the way on a second slap. He does not slap her in the face. I'm pretty sure we covered that and we broke it down where we confirmed that he doesn't slap her in the face twice. He slaps her hand because she puts her hands up. Still, everybody's wrong in this situation. In the situation I was talking about, in my situation, I wasn't wrong at all. But that's the thing. Guys, equal rights. That second slap, that was not at her face. I'm pretty sure that was not at her face. That second, yeah, that's all right. So maybe it was the third one. Maybe I'm wrong. Was there 3 slaps? Now I got to double check. Okay. Slap number 1. Okay. The second one is the one where she puts her hands up. Now, was there a third one? No. Okay, so there wasn't a third one. Okay, we just want to make sure. The third one, he's sort of pushing her down to the ground. Get off me. And that all happened within 30 seconds. And now she's throwing shit at him. It's obviously just a domestic dispute between two married couple. And they basically... This is... If this wasn't caught on camera, there's probably nothing to fear from Dana going home and continuing. I don't think, because once again, he could have leveled her. He's got probably 80 pounds on her, and he may not be a UFC fighter, but he trains with UFC professionals. So I think people might be blowing this up out of proportion. I think it was just a bad moment from 2 drunk people caught on camera. Oh, no. It was definitely not like the Snooki punch. She caught him off guard. We'll play it one more time because we got some people in the chat. One final time, and then we're going to go on to his apology. But you can see here, he's holding her hand. She's trying to assault him. Now, right here, this is where she decides, I'm going to fucking punch you. Right? And his hands are down. He's a little tightened up, but she clocks him right in the jaw. And like I said earlier, I don't care if you're 120 pounds. When you get somebody in that position, in that like little button, it's shocking. It shocks the nervous system. You forget who you are for a minute. I just was explaining in a situation where the same exact thing happened to me, and I was able to control myself, but it would have been perfectly reasonable for me to react in the same way because you're being assaulted. All right, I don't care if the woman has tits and a vagina. It's a fucking assault, and what he does right now is self-defense, as long as he doesn't do it to the point where it's going in the opposite direction, which he doesn't. Okay, now that's the slap. Now one more time, we're going to see if we can try to pause this because a lot of people think that he slapped her in the face twice, and I'm making the argument that he slapped her hand out of the way when her hand went up. So let's see if we can catch it. Yeah. See, her hands come up, and he slaps her hands out of the way. Like, get your fucking hands out of there. And I'm pretty sure that that's what happened. All right. So now, TMZ released this, TMZ Sports, and he did an interview with TMZ Sports. Let's just play that video. I'll try not to interrupt it too much, and then we'll break it down.
Dana, why don't you just tell us what happened that night? What happened leading up to that video?
Well, I'm in Cabo, Mexico, for the holidays with my family, and my wife and I were out Saturday night on New Year's Eve, and unfortunately, that's what happened. I'm one of the guys, you've heard me say for years, there's never ever an excuse for a guy to put his hands on a woman, and now here I am on TMZ talking about it. But my wife and I have been married for almost 30 years. We've known each other since we were 12 years old. We've obviously been through some shit together, and we've got 3 kids. And, this is one of those situations that's, horrible. I'm embarrassed, but it's also one of those situations that is, right now, we're more concerned about our kids. We have 3 kids, and, obviously, since the video popped up, we've shown the kids the video, and we're more focused on our family right now. People are going to have opinions on this, and most of the people's opinions would be right.
Okay, let's stop it there. So you notice what he's saying, and I wanted to point out this one part where he's like, me and my wife have been together for 30 years. They've had this fight before, right? They've gotten physical before. But once again, when you watch an intoxicated Dana and how he handled being punched in the face by his wife, I'm not sure that we would be able to say that he's an abusive husband, right? I think that it's if it was a toxic relationship that's lasted this long, then we might be able to, like, well, what the fuck are we even doing in their lives? It's just I wanted to bring it up because it was a nice shot, and I wanted to fill my episode slot tonight. But no, but seriously, like I said, I don't think that a person who beats their wife or hits their wife or anything like that, or who's aggressive with their wife, would have handled it the same way. I think you've seen Ray Rice, you've seen videos of dudes straight up trying to fucking beat the shit out of a woman because they have the dominant advantage. But in this situation, he got clocked. He reacted, and next morning he wakes up and he's got to handle it. He's got to do the interview. He's got to do the apology. And what he says is, anybody who criticizes him is right. This is exactly how I would handle it. I'd be like, guys, you caught me in a bad moment. I was drunk. It's my wife and I have talked. We showed our kids. And anybody that criticizes me, it's warranted. So basically, he's giving me permission to talk about it. Thanks, Dana.
Especially in my case, you don't put your hands on a woman ever.
And he repeats this point: you don't put your hands on a woman ever. And I still believe that. But like I said, that's the rule, and there are exceptions to every rule, right? If you live by a code of don't ever put your hands on a woman, but then you find yourself in a situation where a woman is putting her hands on you and it's self-defense, that's not putting your hands on a woman. That's defending yourself. So the wife was wrong for hitting him. He's wrong for, I guess, going for that second slap. First one was reactionary. But even that second slap, I think we broke it down. He slapped her hand out of the way.
My wife and I obviously love each other. We've been together for a very long time. We've known each other since we were very little, and this is just one of those unfortunate situations.
You were at a place in Cabo that where alcohol flows. Yeah, I mean, Dana, what we were told by people who were in the club, that it, at least to them, seemed that there was a lot of alcohol involved in this situation.
There was definitely a lot of alcohol involved, but that's...
Look at him smiling. There was definitely a lot of... Yeah, no shit, dude. It's like, I bet you him and his wife woke up the next morning like, oh, fuck. We're going to have to deal with the TMZ now. Oh, my God. I'm sorry. And then he was probably like, I'm sorry. We shouldn't have done that. We shouldn't... I mean... Look, we've all been in toxic relationships. I've been in a relationship where the woman that I was dating, we got drunk, and we were I found out that she was cheating. we got into a screaming match, and she ended up hitting me. Like, it's like, this is like a lot of guys have been through this situation where you call a woman out and then they'll beat you up because you found out that they were being scumbags. I'm not saying that that's what happened here, but women have this amazing advantage against us where you can get physically aggressive, and there ain't shit we can do about it. But you throw a lot of alcohol on me on that day, and I just found out that not only are you cheating, but you just went for some sweet chin music. I'm not saying I condone it, but I mean I'd give myself a pass. I'd give myself a pass on that day.
That's no excuse. I literally am making no excuses for this thing at all. It's never happened before. It's the first time that it's ever happened, and people are going to say what they're going to say. It's just is what it is, and whatever people do say, it's deserved. I deserve it. It happened. I don't know why it happened, and my wife and I have apologized to each other. We've apologized to our kids, and this is one of those things that everybody's going to chime in. I could care less what anybody else thinks about this. Right now, what we're more concerned about are our kids and taking care of our family.
In the video that we've seen, it seems like this what started and was over in less than a minute. Is that haven't seen any video beyond that? Is it fair to say that this ended? How did this situation end? That
was the beginning of it and the end of it, and we're still on vacation. Everything. You're talking about somebody who is, her and I have known each other since we were 12 years old, and we've been married for almost 30 years. So, we're obviously best friends. She's my wife, and we had too much to drink, and whatever happened that night happened. But yeah, that was it, and it was done.
All right, I'm gonna stop it there because I've watched that interview and he just repeats the same shit over again. But yeah, I mean, it is not our business to be involved in other people's relationships. We do this all the time on social media. A lot of people do it on TikTok, right? But he's a famous person. He did the interview, so we'll call this. We won't call this drama. It's just something that I wanted to bring up because I feel that it's a conversation that needs to be had, right? Women need to understand that men are, we're put in a position when you assault us where we can't do shit about it. So maybe, there needs to be a conversation had where in a situation like this, like if you want to talk about equal rights, she assaulted him, right? And I'm sure he's not going to press charges. But the people that are attacking Dana White, right, need to realize that like he got assaulted. I don't care if it's by his wife. I don't care if it's by a woman. He got assaulted. When you get punched, you react and you do what you got to do. It's a fight or flight mechanism in your body. Adrenaline pumps and you do what you do. And he's catching a lot of shit. And I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right that women should be able to put their hands on men. I definitely 1000% don't think it's right that men put their hands on women. And I'm one of those people where if I ever see that happen, I'm getting involved. We are now in a relationship. If I see you put your hands on a woman, I've just moved in and I've now been a part of your whole family, and I have an equal say in what happens now. And what happens is I beat the fuck out of you because you don't put your hands on a woman. And to repeat myself one final time, that being said, that's the rule. There are exceptions to every rule. This was one of them. You don't get to just beat up men, ladies. I'm sorry. If one day a man is going to hit you back and you can't play victim because you put on your big girl pants and you decided to give him some sweet chin music. So those are my thoughts on that. Actually, I went 25 minutes. That's a lot longer than I thought. I thought that was going to be a quick 10-minute, podcast. But yeah, I'm going to call it a night. We're going to bring some more stuff like this where we go into, just the news of the day. And it'll be mixed in with, personal stuff, drama talk, and fucking TikTok beef and shit that nobody knows about, but everybody knows about this. So I'm gonna try to work it in to the program regularly. So I see we got Meg, Perfectly Posh. Let's see if anybody else is in here. One watching. All right. Well, this is a good time to end it then. I must have fallen off and got less interesting. So we'll see you guys later.